W.F. House presents an unabridged recording of Traitor's Odyssey, the untold story of Martha Dodd, and a strange saga of Soviet espionage, by Brendan McNally, narrated by Joan Walker. Preface. I first learned about Martha Dodd during the summer of 1992. I was living in Prague and writing for one of the two American newspapers which had popped up following the end of communist rule 2.5 years earlier. I had gone there because for some reason covering the Pentagon for industry newsletters was suddenly no longer fun, or for that matter, going anywhere. I knew if I was ever going to fulfill my dream of working abroad as a foreign correspondent, I'd either have to do it now or go and do what most of the people I'd worked with had already done and go into public relations. So I went. It was in July or August, during what the Czechs call cucumber season, when absolutely nothing was going on. Everyone in Prague was at their summer houses, tending their gardens and sitting around their campfires at night, drinking wine, roasting sausages and singing songs. It oddly didn't matter that Czechoslovakia, their nation, was at that moment being split apart. It didn't matter because it was summer and everybody was on holiday. But the newspaper wasn't on holiday, and neither was I, at least not if I intended to eat during the following month. I needed to find some stories to report. The Prague Post had its offices 1 block off Wenceslas Square in a run-down 5-story building, which was now headquarters for what remained of the Communist Party. Being now just a shadow of its former self, the party had vacant office space they were willing to rent out to anybody with dollars or Deutschmarks. We had a corridor with windows on one side looking out onto the courtyard. At the end was a large room used by the editors and advertising people. One door up from it was a small room with windows that looked out onto the side of a building, a bank of computers taking up half the wall where it met with a bank of 8-foot wooden cabinets, half with bookshelves and drawers, and where everyone kept their coats and bags. Occupying the centre of the room was a rectangular wooden table with 6 chairs and a single red plastic telephone. This was where the freelancers worked. At any given moment during the day, there'd be 5 or 6 of us sitting around the table with the red phone and one of the translators taking turns calling different ministries and offices, hoping the translator could connect us and line up interviews for stories we were working on. On rare occasions, the person on the other end might directly answer questions the translator posed, but usually they'd want us to come to their offices and talk with them over coffee. This was, after all, Central Europe. The freelancers would get...
Sample complete. Ready to continue?